What if you found the love of your life, but your family hated the person you loved? What if one look, one single moment, changed your whole life forever? This is a story about two young people. They fell in love the moment they saw each other. But their families were enemies. Deep enemies. And nobody, not even they, could stop what was coming. This love would bring joy. This love would bring hope. But this love would also lead to something no one could imagine. How could a love story become a tragedy? Stay with me, because this is Romeo and Juliet. And it is more than just a love story. The city of Verona long ago, in the beautiful city of Verona, there lived two powerful families. The Montagues and the Capulets. These two families were rich. They were respected. And they hated each other. Nobody remembers exactly how the hatred began. But it did not matter anymore. The hate had grown so strong, so deep, that it lived in every generation. Even the servants of these families could not walk past each other peacefully. A simple look could start a fight. A single word could start a sword fight in the street. Verona was beautiful. But under that beauty, there was danger. Everyone in the city knew the rule. If you were a Montague, the Capulets were your enemy. If you were a Capulet, the Montagues were your enemy. There was no in-between. Children in Verona grew up hearing the same warning from their parents. Stay away from the other family. Do not trust them. Do not speak to them. This warning was repeated for so many years that nobody even questioned it anymore. It simply became part of life in Verona. Markets were busy. Streets were full of color and noise. But underneath all of that daily life, there was always tension. A feeling that, at any moment, something could go wrong. In the middle of all this hatred, there was a young man named Romeo. Romeo was a Montague. But Romeo was different from his family. He did not care about fighting. He did not care about pride or honor in the streets. Romeo cared about one thing: love. At this point in the story, Romeo believed he was in love. He thought about a girl who did not love him back. He felt sad. He felt alone. He spent his days wandering, avoiding his friends, lost in his own thoughts. He walked through the streets of Verona with a heavy heart. But Romeo did not know something important. His heart was about to change forever. And soon. He would forget every feeling he had before. Because something was about to happen. Something that would change his whole life. The party that same night, the Capulet family planned a huge party. Everyone important in Verona was invited. Everyone, except the Montagues. Romeo's friends had an idea. A dangerous idea. They decided to sneak into the party. Wearing masks. Hiding their identity. Romeo did not really want to go. He was still thinking about his sadness. But his friends convinced him. "Come with us," they said. "Maybe you will forget your sadness tonight." Romeo agreed. He did not know that this one decision would change everything. The party was full of music, laughter, and colorful lights. Guests danced across the floor in beautiful clothes. Servants carried trays of food and wine through the crowd. Candles glowed in every corner of the great hall. For one night, the Capulet house forgot about worries and hatred. It was a night of joy. Romeo walked quietly through the crowd. He felt out of place. He felt like a stranger in enemy territory. And then, he saw her. Time seemed to stop. The music became quiet in his ears. The crowd disappeared. There was only her. Juliet. She moved through the crowd like light moving through water. Graceful. Gentle. She was young. She was beautiful. But it was not only her beauty that stopped Romeo's heart. It was something deeper. Something he could not explain. He had never felt this way before. Not with any other girl. Not with anyone. In that single moment, every feeling he had before disappeared. And across the room, Juliet noticed him too. She did not know his name. She did not know he was a Montague. She only knew one thing. She could not look away. For a moment, the entire world became silent. Just two young hearts, looking at each other for the first time. They spoke softly. Their words were gentle, careful. full of nervous excitement. Neither of them wanted the conversation to end. But then, reality returned. Juliet learned the truth. The boy she just met was a Montague, her family's enemy. Her heart sank. And somewhere else in the room, Romeo learned the truth too. The girl who stopped his heart was a Capulet, his family's enemy. For a moment, both of them felt fear. This love was impossible. This love was dangerous. But here is the strange thing about the human heart. Sometimes, when something becomes forbidden, it becomes even more powerful. Neither Romeo nor Juliet could stop what they were feeling. Even knowing the truth, their hearts refused to let go. The balcony later that night, Romeo could not go home. He could not stop thinking about Juliet. So he did something reckless. He climbed the wall of the Capulet garden. He walked quietly beneath Juliet's balcony. He knew it was dangerous. If anyone from the Capulet family found him there, he could be killed. But Romeo did not care. His heart was pulling him forward. The garden was quiet. Only the sound of the wind moved through the trees. Romeo stood in the shadows, his heart beating fast. Then Juliet appeared on her balcony. The moonlight fell softly on her face. She did not know Romeo was listening below. She spoke quietly to herself, thinking she was alone. She spoke about her feelings. About Romeo. About the impossible situation between their families. She wondered why a name, just a name, had to separate two hearts that wanted to be together. Romeo listened in the darkness. His heart filled with hope. He could not stay silent any longer. He stepped forward. Juliet was surprised, even a little afraid. If anyone saw Romeo here, his life would be in danger. But her fear quickly turned into joy. They finally spoke to each other openly, freely, honestly. They admitted their feelings. They admitted that this love made no sense. They admitted that it was dangerous. But they also admitted something else. They did not want to lose each other. Not now. Not ever. Under the quiet moonlight, two young hearts made a decision. They decided that no family hatred, no danger, would stop their love. But even in that beautiful moment, there was a small, quiet fear hiding underneath their happiness. A love this strong, built this fast, in a world full of hatred, how long could it survive? A secret decision the next day, Romeo went to see a man named Friar Lawrence. Friar Lawrence was a kind priest. He cared about Romeo like a son. Romeo told him everything. About Juliet. About their love. About their wish to be together forever. Friar Lawrence was surprised. Just one day before, Romeo had been sad about another girl. Now, everything had changed. But Friar Lawrence saw something special in this love. He believed that if Romeo and Juliet got married secretly, their marriage could finally end the hatred between their two families. Maybe love could heal what anger could not. Friar Lawrence agreed to help them. Quietly. Secretly. Later that day, Romeo and Juliet met at the chapel. The small stone room felt far away from the noise of Verona. Sunlight came softly through a narrow window. For a moment, it felt like the rest of the world did not exist. Only the two of them. And Friar Lawrence, standing quietly nearby. Their hands trembled. Their hearts were full of emotion. They were about to make a promise. A promise that could change their lives forever. In front of Friar Lawrence, Romeo and Juliet were secretly married. No family members were there. No celebration. No music. Only love. And quiet hope. For a brief, beautiful moment, they finally felt free. They finally felt like nothing could separate them. But even in this joyful moment, something felt fragile, like holding a flame in the wind. They had found happiness. But how long could it truly last? The fight not long after the secret wedding, the streets of Verona grew tense again. Tybalt, Juliet's cousin, was furious. He had seen Romeo at the party the night before. A Montague, inside Capulet territory. To Tybalt, this was disrespect. An insult that could not be ignored. Tybalt searched the streets, looking for Romeo. The heat of the afternoon made tempers even shorter than usual. People moved out of Tybalt's way as he walked. They could see the anger burning in his eyes. He found Romeo's close friend, Mercutio, instead. Tybalt wanted to fight Romeo. But Romeo refused. He had a secret Tybalt did not know. Romeo was now married to Juliet. Tybalt was now his family too. Romeo tried to stay calm. He tried to avoid violence. But Mercutio did not understand why Romeo was suddenly so peaceful. He saw Romeo's calmness as weakness, so Mercutio drew his sword instead. The fight became violent very quickly. Romeo tried to stop it. He stepped between them. But in that moment of confusion, Tybalt struck Mercutio. Mercutio was wounded. At first, it seemed small. But it was not. Mercutio collapsed. He died in Romeo's arms. Something inside Romeo broke. Grief, anger, rage he could not control. All his effort to stay peaceful disappeared in a single moment. Romeo chased after Tybalt. They fought. And this time, Romeo did not hold back. Romeo killed Tybalt. Silence fell over the street. People stood frozen, staring at the two bodies lying on the ground. No one dared to speak. Romeo looked down at what he had done. He was married to Juliet only hours ago. Now he had killed her own cousin. Word spread quickly through Verona. Romeo was forced to leave the city immediately, or face death. When Juliet heard the news, her heart shattered into pieces. The man she loved had killed her family member. And now he had to leave her. They had barely had any time together as husband and wife. And now, they were being torn apart. The last night together before Romeo left Verona forever, he took a great risk. He secretly visited Juliet one final time. They knew this might be their last night together. Maybe forever. Outside, the city of Verona slept quietly, unaware of the pain hidden inside this one small room. They held each other close. Every second felt precious. Every second felt like it could be their last. They did not want the night to end. They did not want the sun to rise. Because when morning came, Romeo had to leave. They spoke softly. About their fear. About their love. About their hope that somehow, someday, they could be together again. Juliet did not want him to go. But she knew he had no choice. If he stayed, he would be killed. As the sky slowly turned bright, the moment they feared finally arrived. Romeo had to leave. He looked at Juliet one final time. Neither of them said the word, goodbye, because saying it would make it feel too real. Romeo disappeared into the early morning light. Juliet stood alone. Her heart heavy. Her future uncertain. She did not know when, or if, she would see him again. Juliet's impossible choice. Juliet's problems were not over. Her parents, unaware of her secret marriage, had already arranged a new husband for her. A man named Paris. Juliet refused. But her family did not understand why. They only saw a daughter disobeying their wishes. Every day, the pressure grew heavier. Her father grew angrier at her refusal. Her mother did not understand why she suddenly seemed so distant, so afraid. Juliet felt completely trapped. She could not tell them the truth. She could not marry another man. But she also could not disobey her family without a reason they would believe. Desperate, she ran to Friar Lawrence for help. He listened to her fear, her pain, her impossible situation. And then, he offered her a plan. A very risky plan. He gave her a special potion. If she drank it, her body would appear completely lifeless. Cold, still. Everyone would believe she had died. But it was not real death. She would wake up later, safe, and free to be with Romeo. Friar Lawrence promised to send a message to Romeo, explaining the plan. Juliet was afraid. But she trusted this was her only chance at a future with the man she loved. She agreed. That night, alone in her room, Juliet looked at the potion. Her hands shook. Her heart pounded. She thought about Romeo. About their love. About the life they still hoped to share. She drank it. And she fell into a deep, deep sleep. But here is the question that should worry you. What happens when a plan depends on a message reaching the right person at exactly the right time. The message never arrives. The plan was simple. Friar Lawrence would send a letter to Romeo, explaining everything. But something went wrong. The messenger could not reach Romeo in time. He was delayed, blocked, prevented from delivering the message. Romeo never received it. Instead, Romeo heard different news. Terrible news. He was told that Juliet had died. He did not know the truth. He did not know it was part of a secret plan. He believed, with his whole heart, that the woman he loved was truly gone. For a moment, he simply stood there, unable to speak, unable to move. His whole world collapsed in that single moment. Nothing made sense anymore. He thought about their short time together, their secret wedding, their final night. And now, she was gone, before they even had a real chance at a life together. He made a decision, a dangerous decision. He would go back to Verona. He would see her one final time, no matter the risk to his own life. Before leaving, Romeo bought a strong poison, just in case the pain became unbearable. He did not think clearly. He only felt loss. Deep, overwhelming loss. He rode through the night, back toward the city that had once given him the greatest joy of his life, and was now about to give him unbearable grief. The tragic ending. Romeo arrived at the Capulet tomb late at night. He walked inside quietly, and there she was, Juliet, lying peacefully, looking as if she were simply asleep. But Romeo believed she was truly gone. He knelt beside her. The tomb was cold and silent. Only the soft light of a single candle touched her face. For a moment, Romeo almost believed she was only dreaming. She looked so calm, so peaceful. It was hard to believe that her heart was not beating. He spoke softly, painfully, saying goodbye. He told her how much he loved her. He told her that a life without her meant nothing to him. In his grief, Romeo could not imagine a future. Not without Juliet. He took out the poison, and without hesitation, he drank it. Romeo died right beside her. Just moments too soon. Because only seconds later, Juliet woke up. The potion's effect was ending, exactly as planned. She looked around, confused at first. Then she saw him. Romeo. Beside her. Not moving. She understood immediately. The plan had failed. The message never arrived. Romeo believed she was dead, and now he truly was. Juliet could not imagine a life without him. Not after everything they had sacrificed. Not after everything they had lost. She looked at his face one last time, memorizing every detail, as if trying to hold on to him a little longer. In her deep grief, she made her own final decision. She took her own life, beside her husband. When the families finally arrived and discovered what had happened, they were devastated. Their hatred, their years of fighting, had ultimately destroyed the two people they loved the most. Two young hearts, who only wanted to love each other, were gone forever. The meaning of the story. This story is not simply about love. It is about what happens when hatred is allowed to grow unchecked. Romeo and Juliet did not die only because they loved each other. They died because of anger, because of family pride, because of violence that could have been avoided, because of one message that never arrived in time, because of decisions made too quickly, in moments of fear and grief. If Tybalt had controlled his anger, if the message had arrived just a little sooner, if both families had simply learned to talk instead of fight, this story could have ended very differently. But that is exactly why this story still matters today. It teaches us about the danger of hatred passed from one generation to the next. It teaches us about the importance of communication. It teaches us that rushed decisions, made in fear or anger, can lead to consequences we can never undo. And it teaches us something beautiful too. That love, real love, can be brave enough to cross even the deepest divides. Even after hundreds of years, people all over the world still tell this story. Not because it is simple, but because it is honest. It shows us both the beauty and the danger of the human heart. Sometimes, People only understand the true value of peace after they have lost everything. Romeo and Juliet wanted only one simple thing: to love each other. But the hatred surrounding them was stronger than their young lives could survive. Their story reminds us that hatred can hurt people who never started the fight. It reminds us that anger passed down through generations never truly disappears on its own. Someone has to choose to stop it. And sometimes, the greatest tragedy is not that two people fell in love. The greatest tragedy is that the world around them never gave their love a chance. Some love stories are remembered not because they had a happy ending, but because they remind us what happens when we forget how to forgive.